Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the Queer Vision podcast. My name is Koee Star or Koee of Kanekalan. This is,
Hi, I'm Becca.
we are the co hosts and co founders of Queer Alina and the Queer Vision podcast. Today we sat down with Eli Rainwater to talk about books and a lot about experiences of being a vendor, of being in the event planning scene, and a lot of like good marketing tidbits in this one. So if you're starting out and you need to learn about event planning, marketing, those things, keep watching because this is good info, baby. Welcome to the Queer Vision. Today we are sitting down with Eli Rainwater. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm
Good,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so exciting to have you on the podcast. I know we've been, going back and forth for a second, but so excited to finally sit down with you and chit chat. Usually we just start with like a little blurb about you. So if you just want to tell the viewers, who you are, what you do, and all that fun stuff.
Okay, well, I am a self published queer author in Durham, North Carolina. I'm from Atlanta. I write a series of books about a witch who owns a bar. Everything's great. She's retired. Then she finds a dead gargoyle in the bathroom and she has to solve his murder and then save the world. And I travel a lot to conventions, events, host book fairs in Durham, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember when we were looking at your page, I loved I don't know, just like the route of fantasy that you went.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that it so like incorporates all the different like fantasy elements. It
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of like True Blood. I don't know if you've ever seen that show,
I
but like just reading your blurbs.
I read the books before the show came out, and the books are way better. But yeah, I did a lot of research. So every cryptid and fae element in the books comes from lore somewhere in the world. And I tried to find things that are not well known. So, like ogres actually, in Norwegian and Japanese culture, ogres are actually not bad. They just want to be left alone.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So things like that.
Awesome. And you said you host queer book events. So is the one I know you mentioned the event at Arcana that you invited us to this Thursday. Is that your event?
Yes. So I
wow.
got the idea for it a couple of months ago, reached out. The owner of Arcana is very supportive. She's actually my proofreader, and she's very supportive of queer arts. And the thought was keep it small. This will be the first time trying it out. So keep it small, no more than 5 authors. Each author does a reading and a Q&A session in front of the audience. And then they have their own dedicated tables where they can do a meet and greet. Because a lot of people don't know how many indie authors there are in the Triangle and how many of them are queer. And I didn't know until I started putting together book fairs 2 years ago and started meeting these authors.
Yeah, there are so many. We've even noticed that too. Like whenever we started opening up these interviews, oh my God, we've had, I don't know, 6 or 7 already. Just like, holy crap, where did this come from?
we really were like, oh, like, there's queer art everywhere, but like, I don't know. We definitely underestimated the amount of like queer authors and artists, and just in general, queer people in the Triangle area and North Carolina as a whole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Zeitgeist is the new art bar that opened in Old North Durham, and they do a lot of art events and are very queer supportive. One of the owners is a lesbian, and they're very there's a big community for it in Durham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Durham that's like not to delve into my personal life. That's like my ideal location where I would love to live in the Triangle, honestly. I don't know. It's something about Durham, just the culture there, and it just feels more queer and more artsy in general.
It really is. I moved here from Atlanta, and I was blown away at how much more advanced and progressive Durham's art scene was over Atlanta's.
That is insane to think about, honestly. that's something that, yeah, just like, some bigger cities, they're also different and they have their own like niche or vibe. Just so interesting. I'm someone who grew up in a very small area, so like I never even thought of like that as even being an aspect, but it's really interesting to like think about now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where are you from?
I'm from
Like
Atlanta.
originally?
I grew up
Oh, okay.
yeah, I grew up all over the Southeast, but I was born in Atlanta and lived there, moved back there again before I came up here.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So how long have you lived here?
Since for 15 years.
Holy crap. Okay, yeah. That's a long time.
Good.
So you know that you know the place. You know it. You're like, this is home.
Yeah, I've seen Durham change a lot, and I've seen the art community in Durham really start to thrive, and the queer community in Durham just grow in leaps and bounds. So
There's a lot of good stuff happening. I've definitely seen a lot. So thank you for being a part of that and like making space and doing things.
well,
Yeah, that's
thank you all for what you're doing. It's always great when to get my black
this is
cat.
Bagheera.
Yeah, my black cat is asleep somewhere. He's powering up for Zoomies tonight.
Oh,
But yeah, it's always great to have a voice heard, and I love that you actually spanned the Carolinas because I met you all at Festival of Legends.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be me. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I didn't realize how many queer people there would be there. And I was like, I didn't bring enough of anything. And so most people didn't get a business card. But I did my best.
So how long have you been writing?
So I started writing when I was a kid, like actually getting things printed in newspapers and submitted for stuff through school. I quit when I reached adulthood, and then I started up again uh, after COVID. So I was managing Bull McCabe's, and reopening during COVID was an insane nightmare. And we were in like go crisis mode nonstop for the better part of 2 years. And the owner just had all of the management staff come in the office one day, and he handed us the company credit card, and he said, book a vacation. It has to be a minimum of 10 days. You cannot physically be in Durham for at least 5 days of that. If I find out you've been in Durham, you're fired. You have to leave, like actually leave. And all expense paid. And I went to the mountains. I rented a yurt and I spent the whole time reading. Like I sat by a campfire in the mountains in October and read for a straight 10 days. And it was glorious. And I came home and it just like all of that passion, all of the stories I've always been in my head, it just came back. And I wrote Welcome to Jesse's in 8 months, like wrote and had it out.
Oh wow.
And there are a lot of authors who do it a lot more quickly. For me, because I was also working a 60-hour a week full-time job, like it was pretty much any spare time I had, I was writing it. And yeah.
It's amazing. I remember like reading that on one of the things that you had wrote, and I was like, I don't know, just the thought of like your boss being like, go take a vacation. I was like, okay, work.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
what are
don't
the
work.
odds of that? Don't work, literally. But
Well, they're good people, and he really appreciated it because it was not at all even remotely easy trying to keep that place going.
That's amazing. And like also just those moments in life are just so interesting to like reflect on, like the little trip leading into like your book and everything.
Yeah, it was literally life changing. Now, I've always had ADHD, and now that I'm starting to go go from perimenopause to menopause, I didn't know it gets worse.
Yes.
And it's
I believe that.
just a nightmare. Like at work, every time I turn around, everybody's waiting for me to try to remember why I'm even physically in that spot. If I don't write it down, it's gone.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
hormones definitely have something to do with it. I mean, I've noticed that just like with my cycle of like which days I'm going to be okay mentally
Yep.
and which days I should just give up because I'm not going to remember a damn thing.
Nope. I use the app Finch, and because
I love Finch.
oh, we should be Finch friends.
Okay.
And it has been a lifesaver because I get to like see this little bird get happy when I remember to do something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just recently downloaded it. I need to like be more adamant. Like I'll do the things and then I forget to check them off, and I'm like,
I
that's
hate that.
awful.
I hate it whenever the next day I sign up and I'm like, oh my God, I missed a day. Damn it. I don't get the prize.
And especially when you know you did everything that day,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
except remember to
It's
log
so
in.
upsetting. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you said you do a lot of like you said you've done a lot of like book vendor
Mhm.
fairs
So
and whatnot.
uh, I travel to Georgia a lot. Like I've got a presence there too. So I
Oh,
do
wow.
book fairs and author events in Georgia. Like I did my first official, like got invited to a bookstore to do a signing um,
Wow.
in April. I'm going back for another one in 2 weeks. And uh, the first time that I did a book fair, it was kind of inspiring. And I was like, I bet I could do this. And
Mhm.
Full Steam was still open at Rigsby at the time. And Ari, the manager, approached me and asked me if I would be willing to do it there. So that was uh, that was a year ago. That was last September, or not a full year. We decided to do it in September because that's literary appreciation month, and we got the Durham Literacy Center involved. The Durham Library had a table there, and it went really well. And I was really nervous about it because I had never done anything on this scale. And by the way, those tables are ridiculously heavy when you have to like move everything to make
Yep.
space.
I believe it.
But the authors did really well, and everyone was really excited about it. And it wound up like there was a big crowd that came through just from the minute we opened the doors until it ended. It was nonstop. And Stormy Day came in and did a YA reading. So one of the queer authors
Mhm.
that was there, who had written um, a book about with a trans main character, Stormy read their book or part of it.
Oh.
And it was just great. Like authors were selling out of their stuff. So I did the next one at Boxyard RTP in the spring. Again, went better than I anticipated, especially because it wound up being ridiculously hot that day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the next one is this September 14th at Lakewood Social. And then I've got one booked in May at Bull McCabe's. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm trying to
That's
do one in
awesome.
the spring and one in the fall.
Okay.
And that's good too, like that you're giving yourself like the space to not overwhelm yourself. I feel like that's something that happens so much when people event plan,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I've been there, done it. But it's so easy to be like, oh, I want to do all these fun things, and then it's like, oh,
And then you have to pack up all your
yeah.
stuff and you have to put it in the car and then you have to unpack it at every event and then you have to pack it back
Mhm.
up and then you have to put it back in the car and then you have to drive to the next place and then you have to do the same thing all over again and then you're exhausted and you just want to go home.
Yes. And if you're the organizer, you have to do all of that while getting to the place at least no more than 2 hours or no less than 2 hours before the event starts because you have to make
Yeah.
sure every table is turned, everything is set up, and that it has to be done before the vendors show up. And you're the
Yep.
last one to leave because you have to put it all back. So you're there for like 4 hours around the actual event time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
I think that's
there's all of the stuff in between. Your sponsored posts, constantly communicating with vendors because I'm really big on that, making sure everybody has load in and load out information, answering questions, putting together reels, like doing flyers, making sure you're on every conceivable community board and online event space, and it's just a lot.
yeah. It's rewarding work, but it definitely is. I'm glad like you brought that up for like anybody
Mhm.
listening because I feel like it's so easy to look
Mm.
at it and be like, oh, like this could just be simple.
No.
I'll just call up my friends and I'm
Yeah.
fine.
And it's like, no, there is a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
And, we've been putting on events, mostly drag related, but started working in vendors towards the beginning of this last year. Beginning of this year, sorry. But we started in December of last year. So we're still like fairly new to things and like learning stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a lot, and it's a
Yeah.
lot
And
when
every event needs something different.
Mhm.
Like we were just trying to come up with like a what does every single event need? Like what do we need to have on this
Mhm.
checklist? And I was like, well, the marketing plan is going to change based on how many performers we have and how many vendors we have if we have vendors.
Mhm.
And then also the socials are going to be different
Mhm.
because of and I was like, shit. Basically generic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Post things.
Yeah. And I've done events where the uh, coordinator posted nothing. They're like, it
Mhm.
was basically sign up. Oh, here, this is what the fee's going to cost. And then like crickets. And of
Mhm.
course, when that happens, nobody shows up. And it doesn't matter how much I promote myself at this event, my followers know where to find me. They're not going
Mhm.
to me every single event that I'm at.
Exactly.
So I need the venue and the organizer to also promote it to their audience so their audience knows, oh, these people I don't know about, or maybe they do, are going to be at this really cool thing. I should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely like helpful to have every single person that is involved sharing
Yes.
it because
Yeah.
like even if you only have 5 followers, those 5 people seeing, oh my gosh, this venue, I've never seen this venue before, like maybe they're gonna
Mhm.
come out.
Right.
Like that's 5 people we wouldn't have had. But like if you have 6 vendors and all of them are sharing it, plus the organizers, plus the venue, like that's gonna be hopefully a good turnout.
It
Mhm.
is. And I do at the end, the last Saturday of every month, my friend Jenny, who's part of Stationary Possums, and I do an art pop up at Moondog Meadery. And
Oh, wow.
the I always run a a sponsored post for 5 days, either in the middle of the month or before it starts, or both. And we do flyers, and the sponsored posts get a lot of traction. Like people share them, they see them, but every time the vendors also share it, it's like the number of eyes on it is so much better. And even though they're not going to come to every single thing this person does, they're going to come to some of them. That might be the one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
that was something like we've even been looking into it because we haven't really done sponsored posts yet, but we're like, okay, looking into it more. So I'm taking that as a piece of affirmation
Yeah,
from the world that you just said that because yeah, I've heard from quite a few people that it does
it
work,
does.
but like it takes a village almost. I feel like a village or community, I guess is a better way to put it. The more community leans into each other and everybody pitches in,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it works.
Word of mouth is really huge. The with the
Hmm.
sponsored posts, what I've learned is to do you don't want it out too far because then people forget about it.
Right.
Hmm.
I do it like I did one as a call to authors in July for this book fair. I'm going to start the marketing ones uh, this week. So the first one promoting it comes out this week. One will come out at the end of August, and then another one will come out in September, the week before it starts. And I always do it so that I'm getting charged when people click on my link tree because most people don't do that. They go
Hmm.
to my look at the reel on my Instagram page, which means it actually gets more views or more eyes on it. So when I switched that to going to my website instead of going to my profile, the uh, ad views went up by about anywhere from 2 to 3,000 views, and now I get roughly 2,500 to 3,000 views when I'm doing it very focused, like specifically targeting authors. That's what I was getting as opposed to when I did this before, where it was around 1,000. And for the art pop-ups and things like that, I'm getting close to 5,000 views. And that's you
Wow.
can make it as targeted as you want. So I have mine super, super, super targeted. So it's not
Hmm.
just like blasting everybody. And I have it set to be regional. And the nice thing about the algorithm is once the sponsored part ends, it's still getting views because it already has so many views. It jumps up in the
Mhm.
algorithm.
Right.
Yeah, it really is like it's just like I don't know. I'm such the creative brain, so I've been doing like I did social media before doing this as like my full-time job, and I definitely have like, been in the metrics, but it's always so interesting to me when I like actually clock into it and like pay attention to
Yeah.
it because I don't know. It's so much that goes into it that you don't see by the naked eye or you
Yeah.
don't usually think about.
And the other nice thing is it's not expensive. So I usually, for those 5 days, I pay $20 to $25.
Yeah, that's really not bad.
No.
So wait, the payment is based off of
You,
what you pay
yeah,
ahead of time, or
you pay at the end or when the ad finishes running or when it reaches $25, whichever comes first, if you're doing it through Meta. And you set your parameters. You decide what call to action you want people to take. You determine who your audience is, and then you set your budget. And it's on a slide. They give you like a little slider, and you can say, I want it to run for this many days, for this much on each day, or this much per day. But you say, I want it to run this many days at this much per day, and then it runs it. And when it's done, you get charged for it. And it runs across
okay.
Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And also,
Yeah.
like, for anybody listening, that's a good little, I don't know, tidbit. Like, if you're starting event organizing or any kind of thing in the area, like, to know, like, hey, it's just $25. It's worth it. Because I mean, at that point, when you're doing event producing, like, losing $25 is just $25. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it can matter, but it's not too big
Yeah.
amount.
It can make the difference between, if it makes a difference between 50 people showing up and buying something as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to 10 people showing up, then yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna make more money,
Right.
ultimately.
And so many event calendars, like Durham has Discover Durham and Downtown Durham both have really great event calendars that are easy to add to and they're free. And
Oh, wow.
Triangle on the Cheap has an event calendar that a lot of people subscribe to. Like that's huge.
Interesting. Yeah, I had no idea about that,
Can you
honestly.
send us those free ones, please?
Yes. So
We need those.
Discover Durham and Downtown Durham, and I'll send you all the links in the email thread. And Triangle on the
Oh,
Cheap,
really?
like they're great because you can plug in your event. They have categories, times. You can set everything in it. Is it going to be free or not? Are kids allowed? Will there be pets? What's going to be going on? There's a whole section for LGBTQ stuff. Like, is there going to be a drag performer? Is this LGBTQ friendly? Is it supporting a cause? Like everything. And then you just uh, plug all of that in and you're good to go.
Awesome. Do you, just since we've been on this topic, do you find yourself like being more of like the logic brain kind of like, do you enjoy this stuff or is it just stuff?
So
Yeah.
much. I love it.
Yeah, because I was like, I can see in the way that you talk about it, it seemed like you did enjoy the like logistics of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
So,
I have a weird uh, brain. I was recently diagnosed as being autistic, which made a lot of things make sense. And it's like I can be so creative and I love being logical and putting
mhm.
together, like I love spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. Give me a good spreadsheet and I will be happy for hours. And I have spreadsheets for all of these things.
Nice.
Yeah, that's where Rebecca comes in. Yeah,
I'm the
same
logic.
way. Yeah. I try to be, and I'm getting better. But yeah, I'm definitely more of the run around everywhere
Yeah,
and
yeah.
come up with the idea.
Koei is the big picture, get excited about something new and give us motivation. And I am the okay, how do we do this and also not go bankrupt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also helps that I've been able to find really great venues that are willing to work with me either for
Mhm.
free or for cheap because I do charge a fee from the vendors, but that is what's paying for all of the sponsored posts for Stormy's time and for anything that I put out, like making flyers, gas that I spend putting things
Right.
up, you know.
The overhead.
Yeah.
The overhead of just existing.
Yeah, and what I try
yeah.
to do, I will never price gouge. I'm going to charge what I need to cover things. And a lot of queer artists are not rich, and I'm sure that's a shock to everyone. I'm being serious. So I do a thing where it's like, you're paying me, but I want to give something back. So like with the authors, it's a $50 fee, but if you show up and you're set up on time, you get 20 of it back. So it's really a $30 fee and a $20 deposit. And the deposit is like my guarantee that you will be there on time and set up and ready to go before the event starts.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's something that we've really tried to do, is like keep it moderately affordable. And I was even looking through like, and not to like, I don't know,
just don't name it.
Yeah, no names, but like I've seen like a lot of local pride organizations that are a bit bigger, and the fees for vendor booths are just outrageous.
300 easy, 400,
Yeah,
even more.
Like, how is that? Who's that feasible to? You know, especially like when you're looking at real queer artists. I mean, I'm sure there are some, and I know there are some, but it definitely affects a huge portion of the community.
Yeah, it makes it harder for like the smaller people to come up in and actually get their stuff seen.
Yes.
It's like you have to hit this tier to be able to be there.
And a lot of it depends on where these events are being held. So like I said, I've been lucky that places have been willing to work with me. Like I used to work at Bill McCabe's, so I know I can have something there. Lakewood Social is such a fantastic spot, and I want to show them love, and they love hosting things like this. And for a lot of these, especially if you can do it at a place that has the space and also sells something like food or alcohol, it's a win for them because they get money from the vendors and the people who are coming in. But other places, like any event space like Rick House or Central Park or anything like that, Fletcher Park in Raleigh, they cost so much, and in some cases that fee, especially if the organizers have to rent tents, a PA system, any larger event in Raleigh, well, definitely in Durham, and I believe in Raleigh too, requires a police presence. So you have to pay that fee. So for a larger event, which is why I don't do the larger ones, the cost, like it's a huge difference.
Yeah. Which I think that's good to like see too. And thank you for like bringing that up, because even in my own, like, it helps correct my own narrative too, because see, like we only see one side of it. And even though I do event producing, I guess my brain
it's a small stuff. We've only done the small stuff.
Yeah. And so like I didn't even think about all that.
Yeah.
So
now we're learning maybe for our events, since I think we're also learning that people who don't produce events don't know what costs go into it too. Maybe we can start putting it in the sign-up sheets like, hey, this is what your vendor fee goes towards. Like it's not us just pocketing it and being like, thank you. Like it's going towards like making sure that the performers are paid.
Yeah.
Making sure that the vendor has been venue has been paid.
Yeah.
I can't word.
Because you can't charge for a lot of these things. The public doesn't have the money, like they're not going to cover that cost. So that's why the vendors are doing it. And the idea is, if the vendors are paying that much, then they themselves will put forth the promotional efforts to get people in, so they get reimbursed. But if you're an author and you're on Threads and you follow just the insanely disastrous book tours and book fairs that have been going on, you see, I love those. I will sit there and just lurk on Threads and just read all of this stuff. But you see how much people, how high the need for transparency is. And so like when I do the book fairs, there's a form you fill out. When you're accepted, you get added to a Google Doc where I keep all of the information and I constantly update it. And in that, I tell you what your fee is going to, like all of the ways that I'm going to promote. And then I update each sponsored post with how many views there were, and everything that I'm doing. And it honestly had never really occurred to me to do that before, because every event I'd done where I'd paid into it, I knew, like, I already had a pretty good idea of how expensive these things are to put on.
Mhm.
But yeah, it really makes people feel better when
Yeah.
when you're transparent like that. And I also think it's really important to have answers prepared, because
Mhm.
people are going to this book fair, I had more people asking me questions like, how many authors are going to be there? What have you done this before? What was the turnout in previous events? That kind of thing. And having that information on hand is really helpful. Anything that gives
Mhm.
peace of mind to your vendors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, like, just as a whole, too, as a society, like, I think there's this wave of authenticity that we're like stepping into. Like, I feel like you see it in like all aspects of culture, and I think there's also the opposite side of
Mhm.
that, right? Like, it's a divide for sure, but I think there's a huge portion where it's like at least we're seeking more authenticity,
Yeah.
and the more transparent we all can be, the better we are as a whole, a community and a society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to hear a disaster story
Yes.
about an event,
What is that just about?
the Neverland event. Did I tell you? Did I tell you about that at all?
Oh, we'll bleep
Okay,
that.
Was that
Or
everyone
not.
knows it was Shy
Oh,
Secret,
was that
right?
never
the
mind.
one on Memorial Day?
I don't remember. It was. I think it might have been.
I got invited
I
to
think.
do one on Memorial Day and I had to back out.
Oh, yes, you would have, because you were at Festival of
Yeah.
Legends. Okay, so there was a guy. Okay, so one of my clients is like into pirate stuff, and she's like, "Hey, I'm doing piratey things for this event," and I was like, "Cool." I didn't say anything else because like I was like, I'm not gonna be a vendor for like the pirate section, because I do like earrings and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's not like piratey, or like I have very like happy, goofy things, not like piratey things. So I was like, don't worry about it. Okay, whatever. Then my friend that I was with at Festival of
Yeah.
Legends, when I was walking around talking to you guys, she's like, yeah, somebody came over to the thing and like gave me a little piece of paper about Neverland. I'm kind of excited about it. I was like, this is the world telling me we need to go. Like, this is the second time I'm hearing about this, or like the fifth, really, because my client talked about it all the time. But like, I was like, this is great. I love this. I'm so excited. And she was like, it's only like $100 for 2 days. Now the bad part is like we'd have to set up on Friday and tear down on Monday, and it's like 2 hours away from us. And I was like, whatever, we can do it. Like, we're not going to get a hotel. Like, we're going to drive every day. And thank God we did that, because like we get there and like, first off, dude does not know where to put people. He's like, oh yeah, over here. Sure, over there works. Uh-huh. Like, just like pointing like random places. And I was like, already, I was like, I mean, I've been to events that have gone really well where the person was like, oh, I just didn't map it out, and this is, yeah, whatever. Like, I've been to those before, but I was like, this is weird that we're right next to a food truck and a popcorn stand, but it's fine. And so like we're just sitting there, and like it starts pretty early. Like, it started like 9 o'clock on a Saturday. So we're just like sitting there. We're like, well, it's still really early and it's Saturday. And then we find out like, oh, there's also graduation going on at the same time. Like, okay. And then like we're still like, it's still early. And then like 3 hours later, we're like, it's still early. It wasn't. We saw like the only people we saw were the other vendors. People started packing up the first day. Like, it was ridiculous. People couldn't get a hold of the guy who actually set up the thing. He was out there saying like, oh, it's because the vans didn't know where to pick people up from the parking spot, and we have 9,000 tickets sold. The popcorn lady says, oh, we had 30,000 tickets sold. Like she's like, yeah, they emailed us because we needed to know how much popcorn to bring. 30,000 people. And she's
That's
like,
crazy. I
did
didn't
you
know
mean
that part.
3,000? He's like, no, 30,000 tickets already sold. Okay, so we're expecting a flood. Nope, nothing. Like, middle of the day, Sunday still even. And I told Ellen, my friend that I went with, we had gone back and forth, right? So we'd
Mhm.
gone up on Friday, come back, gone up on Saturday, come back, gone up on Sunday morning. We're exhausted. And I was like, I'm doing this until noon and then I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous.
So he walked around and he asked me, and I learned the hard way after a disaster that happened in Atlanta. always, before you agree to do something and sign up for it, go online and check out their presence. Do they market their events? Do they have a website? Is this event on their website? Is there social media presence for it? What have they done to promote it? So I found nothing. And
Yeah.
I was looking, and I had that feeling in my gut, and I was like, this seems odd. Like, this is $100. There's no refund. There's no, like, even partial refund if you can't go. I had already done the East North Carolina Ren Fest, which was a 2-hour one drive each way. So that was 8 hours of driving that weekend. Festival of Legends was an hour away. So that was another 4 hours of driving. And I was like, this place is even far. I think it was like 3 hours or
Yeah.
a day. And I was just like, I can't. Like,
And it was in bumfuck nowhere.
yeah.
Like it was like people with like mega hats were walking around like it was normal, and we were just sitting there like,
Yeah.
okay.
And I was looking at the location and I was like, there is nothing out here. Like this is
No.
not cool. So yeah, that sounds horrible. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean, for us, honestly, it was kind of a good experience because we were like, well, like the people that cooked, they couldn't keep their stuff for like a next weekend, so they just gave it out to the other vendors. I made friends with other vendors, and I mean, I knew the person that was running the pirate section. I mean, she was definitely mad because she was supposed to be getting a certain number of dollars that she wasn't given. And also the police didn't get paid and the venue didn't get paid. So we don't know where the money went. But I mean, it was time with friends, and I mean, we were
You
exhausted,
make the best.
but it was fun. Huh?
It's exhausted. You make the best of it.
Yeah, we had to. We had to.
So
Yeah.
one thing that I did notice, and I think vendors should keep in mind, is how much what's going on with the economy and with the uncertainty in the economy is affecting the way people want to spend money at these events.
Yes.
Everything I've done this year, even things that I've done in the past where I've sold everything I brought, my sales are way down, but attendance is way up. And it's like
Yes.
people are coming to these things because they need that mental break. They need to feed their souls with these really cool events, but they're afraid to spend the money. And
Yes.
I've heard a lot of vendors get frustrated and give up and say, I'm not coming back to this event anymore, or I'm not going to do this anymore, or I'm not doing anything else. And it's like, it sucks because we're spending the money and we're putting ourselves out there and we're not getting our money back. Like, I'm going to end this year at a loss just on travel and vendor fees. But
Yeah.
it's still like, I don't want to give up on it. And I don't want these cons and these venues to feel to give up because nobody wants to come to them anymore. I'm not talking about
Well,
Neverland. I'm talking like Festival. But I know Festival of Legends is coming back, but yeah,
the smaller
yeah,
ones. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way. I think like one of the people, because I was talking to so many vendors at that dumb event, one of the people brought up a good point of like, I always look at my sales and pay attention to like the little things. Like if people are walking around and they're not buying the little dollar, like the little, oh my god, why can I not think, the little
yeah,
ducks that like the little kids get and stuff like that. If they're not even buying those dollar things, they're not going to buy my stuff. And that's like looking at like, oh well, my sales didn't do well. Well, nobody's sales did
right.
well if this isn't even selling, and like not everybody's going to buy that, but still. And so like having a variety of
Mhm.
prices with your stuff will help. Like having dollar stickers
Mhm.
helped. Having things that are like $5 easy, like okay, well $5 is just, I just won't drink coffee tomorrow morning,
Yeah,
like versus having $50 price, definitely does help that. But then I mean, I agree with you. I think it's hard to say like I did or I didn't. My biggest thing as a vendor is if you feel like you're not doing well at that, network. Like no matter what, network. If you have somebody else at your table, especially, go around and meet the other vendors, get their contact information because you can probably find really good events and also make connections like we made.
yeah. I have found for a while I was going online and like painstakingly spending at least an hour a week, like doing searches and trying to find places. And once I got to the point where I was able to start networking and getting to know people and following them on social media, I was able, like, when they post that they're doing something, then I can be like, oh, that might be good for me. And, or they'll reach out to me and say, hey, this thing is coming up. You should check it out. And I've tripled my event appearances this year just by that. Networking can be huge.
It definitely can be. That's how we have that's how we have all of our stuff. Like, that's how we have all of our performers. That's how we've gotten all of our interviews and all of our guest articles in the magazine. All the help that we've had on the magazine is all either friends or networking we've done.
Yeah. When you can, it's so important to network and, like, I don't know, just be a part of the community. Like, the more active, and obviously within reason, you can't be out every day. You can't go to every event, but I think the more that you're able to, like, show up for the people that show up for you, you know, it most times comes back threefold.
Yeah.
In my experience, especially in the nightlife scene, which, well, we are getting a little bit closer to the hour mark. Was there anything that you wanted to mention that maybe we didn't? I know we got kind of sidetracked on marketing.
Just especially for people who are starting out and maybe don't have budgets, sign up for the Writer Beware website newsletter. It is huge for uncovering scams that target authors. Learn how to keep books and keep a profit and loss sheet. That's also really huge for knowing what works and what doesn't when it comes to marketing and events and tracking all of your expenditures. And make sure to sign up for sales and tax numbers where you normally do work. Don't let that come back and bite you in the ass. But keep putting yourself out there, and there are huge queer networking communities for authors that cover the whole country.
And what are your socials and website for everybody?
Website is elirainwaterbooks.com. And I'm also Eli Rainwater Books on Instagram and technically Facebook and Threads. I only really use Threads to lurk. I don't do a whole lot else on it. I have a TikTok account I haven't opened in a year and a half. And I'm also Eli Rainwater Books on Blue Sky.
Okay. Perfect.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for, like, sitting down and giving such, like, insightful information.
Well,
just about everything.
I appreciate that you all let me come on here.
Thank you so much for listening to the Queer Vision podcast with Eli Rainwater. If you would like to support her books or learn more, you can go to elirainwaterbooks.com. Exactly. And you can follow her on all the socials she mentioned: Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky. There we go. It's like there was one more.
And her inactive TikTok if you're a real one.
Exactly. You got to follow on all. Give the algorithm a chance. And thank you so much for supporting us. You can like, share, subscribe, comment, all of the above. Leave a 5-star rating if you're listening to this in podcast format, because that helps a lot with podcasts. Exactly. And also go to our website if you'd like to learn more, queerlina.org. You can contact us and you can sign up for your own interview so we can share your story. Yeah. And you can find us on all socials at queerlina.org. We are Nasty Queer and Queer Vision Mag. Yeah. Until next time. Thanks so much. Bye. Oh, I missed.